Hello, everybody. Let's get excited. I know everybody's super tired, like one of the last talks of the day. And I'm going to be talking about something that I really enjoy, which is cultural and the multicultural environment that we currently live on. And also the transition that Jimdo had from local-only company to remote-first-based business. First of all, you can see from my accent that I'm not from here, not from America. I'm Brazilian by heart. Super proud of Brazil. I think there's some Brazilians here in the audience that we spoke with. Woo! And yeah, so I live in Germany since 5 years. I'm currently VP engineering at Jimdo, which is a company that is making the best to help solopreneurs and small business to get where they deserve to be, like the greatest part of our economy, which is really like the solopreneurs, the person who has one employee, 2 employees, or self-made, can be a mother who cooks, can be someone who sells some stuff. We are trying to help them. And I'm also a partner at MZ Group. MZ is a Brazilian company for investor relations. Super proud of that because like it's nice to see a Brazilian getting outside. We have offices in America, have offices in Asia, and it's pretty cool. My hobbies, so family always first, the other ones, depending on the week. So some weeks I like to read, some weeks I like to do sports, some weeks I really like to work, but always a very family guy. And not Peter Griffin, just. If you want to follow me on LinkedIn, that's my QR code. If you also want to talk to me, I'm going to be at the Jimdo booth. It would be a pleasure to discuss the topics from this presentation. And yeah, I hope you learned something. I hope you got some fun. I hope we can also exchange something later. And yeah, let's go. So let's start from the beginning, how everything started. And I'm super sorry for keeping saying a bunch of things that you probably already heard, but that's management. Management is really about reinforcing everything you already know and enable the teams to grow. And I'm going to keep saying a lot of things that you probably got it, which is a good thing. If like speakers come here and say a bunch of different stuff, we would be in a pretty bad point. So that's how we start our life. Most probably all of you went through a class, maybe not this one. This is a very traditional Brazilian school. But education system is where you first have your social interactions, the first time you get used to people. This new generation in Germany, if they go to school, they are going to have a bunch of different backgrounds in the class. It's pretty normal. You sit in the streets, you see the kids getting out. It's like lots of nationalities, lots of interactions. But in Brazil, in 1995, it was not like this. It all Brazilians, the teachers were Brazilian, everything was super Brazilian. So the way I was growing up was like, the only culture I know and the only thing I know is about Brazil. And most probably, a lot of you also. You went to school with only people from your nationality. When we go to university, same thing. So it's not very common that a person from Europe goes to Brazil to the university. Usually it's the other way around. So the way we were actually made for the work, it was pretty standard. I was only having interactions with people who thought the same as I did. And then I started to work. That's actually a picture from IBM Brazil, 2004. That was my team. And it was interesting because although it was a multinational company, we were the Brazilian team. We were not like part of the whole thing. All the meetings with Brazilians. Our directors sometimes, they were actually talking to the people from US, but we have IBM Brazil, IBM India, IBM Singapore, IBM Canada, IBM US as their own constellations, and we were just part of a Brazilian team. So again, my way of working was very Brazilian, and I'm going to discuss a bit about the challenges very soon. So what happened? As you are all engineers, it's important to give a bit of data. That's the number of vacancies in Europe, in Germany actually, the number of open vacancies, not only technology, so overall. And you can see that every year there's more and more and more, except of course during COVID, but like more and more vacancies opened. And here is the number of people who are actually graduating. If you correlate the two, it's pretty obvious. And again, management's about saying the obvious over and over again. There's not enough people to do the work, and we know it. Most of us are here today because of this correlation. Companies had to go and look for people elsewhere, in other parts of the world. Not only growing their careers. So in my time, when I joined IBM in 2002, it was impossible to go to America. Like I needed to be a director, and then I got a chance to actually relocate. Visa programs are super tough. You need to have like C1 to move to Germany. But because of these, because there's not enough people and the companies need to grow, things are getting easier for us to come. And I'm just using my example, but you can relate, like it's not about myself, you can relate as any person who actually relocated. And here's the number of immigrants in Germany. Again, not only in tech, overall, but you can see that we are getting more and more and more. And remember, I studied with Brazilians, I go to university with Brazilians, I made my whole career with Brazilians, so my cultural perspective is purely Brazilian. And now we are working in Germany. What happened with Jimdo, with a lot of companies here, it was a new multicultural environment, but nevertheless, it was a German company. So we, coming to Germany, we had to adapt. And this happened also in a lot of different countries. Multicultural, you have like in the offices, the flags and everything, but nevertheless, the culture that was staying in the company was the German culture. We were adapting to that. It was pretty common, so in my time, like when I moved to Germany, I had these 2 weeks of understanding the country, understanding how it's going. I mean, the first time, probably if you are not from Germany, the first time you got a bus and say, hey, good morning to the driver, and then he just like, fuck off. It's pretty tough. Or when you go to the supermarket and like he's passing super fast and you're like, come on, just in the bag. No, there's no bag. And then, yeah. But you get used to that. You know, you learn about the country, you learn about the culture. As I was saying, like one of my dearest friends, he's here at the conference. He showed me this, the cultural map. It's a very great exercise if you want to understand different cultures. Janos, if you're there, thank you for showing me this. And people are different. So, for example, in a meeting in Brazil, really, most probably you guys went for a meeting with Brazilians. We are always late. Like, it's normal. Like, it's 5 minutes, it's okay. 10 minutes, it's also okay. And there's no problem. Let's catch up in the beginning. It's different. So I was able to learn about the country because I was actually exposed to the culture everywhere. And things were super working out. So people were coming, people were getting adapted to the country, people were getting cultural-wide. I'm much more German now than I was 5 years ago. But then, as we all know, this beautiful virus came and everything got super, super, super hard. Mostly because people were forced to go home. So who was working in the office, they had to go home. Nobody was working from the office anymore. And also the borders were closed. So even people who got like a job offer, they were not able to come. And remember, there was still vacancies. So it's not that COVID came, there's no vacancies anymore, everything stopped. No, the economy kept going. And nobody stopped hiring. Jimdo, for example. So remember, we are helping solopreneurs. We are helping that person from your street who owns a very tiny shopping, and you go there to buy from them. They don't even know what it is to use a computer. And we want to bring them online. COVID forced them to go online. It was not a fact anymore, like the police would actually close their stores. So we were growing, we need more people. And we moved from that, in a multicultural company in Germany, to this. It's a German company, but there's a lot of different nationalities. And it changes everything, because again, remember, I had experience with the bus driver, I had experience in the supermarket, I had all like, or if I go to Italy and ask for a cappuccino at 3 p.m., like it's going to be super tough, so you understand how the country goes. And now, not anymore. So now I'm living in my country, I'm exposed to my people, and I'm working in a different company. It's super tough, and most of you probably face these issues. The challenges we start facing from day one. The first one, onboarding. So remember, people come, they had time to actually adapt to the company, they were in contact with people, they met different teams. Now, nothing. Like you are simply in your house, you open your computer, and you have to talk to very different people. You don't know them. It's super hard, like you don't have this human touch. So again, I had, for example, a Brazilian in my team that on his onboarding, he was 15 minutes late, which is pretty common. Like it is us, we are like this. And it's true. And the Germans from the team, they were totally pissed. Like, what the hell? This guy's like first day. Where is him? Come on, damn it. So until we understand like that, how to structure the onboarding, respecting time zones, the kind of documentation we need to have, it was a pretty long process. Language, so English. I'm pretty sure our friend there from the subtitles is having a hard time with my English, and it's normal. Like it's not our mother language. So when we're talking face-to-face, we can gesture, we can try to use another word. But when you are remote and you say something that people don't understand, it's pretty tough. And if it's a bigger meeting, nobody will actually stop you and say, hey, I'm sorry, I actually didn't understand what you say. And then you got a very complex situation. So getting to a point where language can be understood to the whole place, it's also super important. Also, for example, at Jimdo, you have like multiple nationalities. And it's very common that in some meetings they're speaking German because they're all Germans. So you come up to the meeting and then you just swap. So this kind of mindset is it's very heavy to do it. One-on-ones. So if you do a one-on-one with someone, I mean, I like to say like the most important part of the one-on-one is when it's done. And you go for the body language because the person can be understanding everything that you said and then they're totally pissed and they're going to cause like a lot of troubles and they didn't understand. And now it's simply computer off, camera off. You have no clue what's going on. And then maybe when the information comes to you, it's too late. So you need to restructure the pace of the one-on-one. You know, you need to understand give time. It's different. Before you were in the office in the morning, then you need to say goodbye, so you have contact. We also had to structure this to go to a better setup. Meetings. That's my calendar. So my team knows how busy things are, but it's not because I'm busy. It's really like before in the office when everybody was local, like you could just call someone for a coffee and for 5 minutes you solve your issue. Now you don't have this. There's some stuff that are very sensitive to write in Slack and some people don't feel comfortable. If you don't have a clear process for them to actually follow, this is how your calendar will look like. It's how my calendar looks like. Everybody's, I mean, it's impossible also to actually control your time. Because really, like I went there. How can I actually be available in all these meetings? If you look on Wednesday, for example, at 3, I have 3 meetings at the same time. And how can I switch context from all of this? It's not productive. But that's normal. That's also what's challenging we faced, and we needed to teach. Cultural differences, again, like it's something very elevated with the remote and distributed world at Jimdo. My example that I gave from Germany, that another one that is pretty funny, like we have this invoicing system for refunds, and I asked like the accounting, she's German, I asked like, hey, can you please send me the information so I can order a refund? And she sent me, and then I was like, yeah, but of course I haven't read it, and I just make a question because I'm Brazilian, so I try to go the easy way. And then I asked her like, hey, where's this information? First, like 1, open the file, 2, go to second page, 3, screenshot, 4, don't fuck with me again. So it's challenging, so I could feel hurt, you know. And we had this, like we had some cases from people saying, hey, this person is super, super, super unfriendly and we need to have a conversation. Why? Yeah, he rejected my PR. Like, what? It's normal. No, but he needs to be kind with me. He needs to call me. Why write a comment on GitHub? Like it's so unprofessional. Now everybody knows that I don't know how to code. Like, man. So you need to get like on a level where this kind of communication is actually done properly. And most important, like this is something that is super, super, super important, is trust. When we started the remote world, I mean, all of you know this. All the companies went out there and said, oh, remote is amazing, remote is the future, we are never going to back to the office. Everything is super brilliant, people are happy, people can raise their kids. Numbers were good, things were happening, the company was succeeding, and then the economy gave some like shake and they come here. We need to get back to the office, it's impossible, people are not working, they might have 3 jobs, something's not working. So it's true. It's really true. Like that's what happens. And here's a very important thing for you, as an engineer manager or leaders in the technology industry. Executives will always find an excuse to be angry. Always. Like that happens, and that's our job to make sure the team is not impacted. And the most important thing is, if things are not going well, people are going to get the fear will start showing up on people. People are scared, like that the company is not going to succeed, the numbers are not going to be there, that something's going to get wrong. And when people have fear, they're going to put pressure. And most probably you guys already heard like, hey, are you sure that your team is working? Can we measure the hours? Can we measure PRs? Can we measure commits? Are you pretty sure that they are? They don't look like they are working. And this happens because we are visual beings. So when people are in the office and they see, he's sitting there with his headset, he's working. I'm not seeing this person. It's like, he's probably in the mall. He's probably like having a nice time with his family. And our job as managers, really, for trust is we need to have clear deliverable metrics. We need to sit with our teams and make sure we tell them what to do. We tell them why they are doing and have like this plan communicated more and more. If you don't work on this, trust will be gone and the company will be gone. Remember, trust, if you have lack of trust, it will bring fear, and then executives will be scared about the company. They're going to put pressure on you. You're going to fear about your job because you're managing. You're going to put pressure on the team. The team is going to fear their jobs. They're going to stop innovating. They're going to stop bringing some very good ideas to you, and then the company will not succeed at all. It's very hard for us to do this, but we need to make sure we communicate properly. That's on us. That's on the middle management. That's on the senior management. We need to make sure that we communicate properly, both ends. Some of our solutions, so what we have done so far. The first one, and I super recommend this one. We succeed in writing. We didn't succeed so far in following, so we are in the process of it, to be honest. But it's our remote playbook. This is a cross-company initiative where every single department writes all the policies and guidelines and everything that needs to be done. It's super easy to find. Remember the invoicing thing, that's one, it's there, so that's why she was very pissed. It's very heavy work to get done, but it's pretty good, because then people know what to expect. And that's amazing. They know when to communicate. So I'm sick, what should I do? You should change your Slack status. That's a guideline that you need to follow, because then people see it. But if you don't communicate, people can just go and then you're not aware of what's going on. So in a remote culture, in a remote world to work, you need to be informative. Everything that you expect needs to be informed. Again, takes a lot of time, a lot of energy. In our case, it was a cross-company initiative, more than 2 months of everybody writing all the policies. And you need to have executive buy-in so we can reinforce this. It's a reinforced procedure. Over-communicating, that's, some of my Slack messages, some of the Jimdo HQ channel. It's super important for a remote world that you over-communicate. It's never too much to communicate more. And again, for us, middle managers and as senior managers, it's pretty tough because you have different audiences. The way you communicate with your team is different than the way you communicate with executives. On both sides, they really need specific communication. Imagine if I go to my executive team and say, hey, you know what? Yeah, we had a security incident, we are screwed. I can't. But I can say this to my team, like we need to figure out. And the other way is also true, like I need to understand how to do it. So usually, in my side, I write probably 5 to 10 messages every week to 4 different channels. So you can do 10 plus 4, 10 times 4, 40. It's a lot, but the teams know what they are doing. And this changed everything. People need to know what they are doing. It's your responsibility to over-communicate with them. This is a bit controversial, like old school people like me, they learn that you should not be transparent. The company is not good, but don't tell people, like, let's just keep going. I think it's bullshit. Like, really, be transparent as much as you can. People deserve to know why they are, where they are, and what they are doing. And it's okay. It's really okay. Be transparent. Some people are going to leave the company. That's okay. It was not the right place for them. Some people are going to be more excited to the future of the company. That's also okay. So transparency will keep your team in a level that you are not going to regret. Tell them why you are doing what you are doing. It's tough. It's really hard. Like, it takes a lot of learnings to get to a point where you can say to people, like, very transparently what's going on, but you are not going to regret. This is our mantra. Like, it's really what we do since the beginning. Like, assume nothing. Never assume people understood what you were saying. Never assume people are going to do what you're thinking they're going to do. And never assume nothing, like really, assume nothing. This is a Nike value, actually, and we start to following. It goes directly to the over-communicating. So if you ask someone to do something, and then this person didn't do it, and later, 2 weeks later, say, yeah, but you were supposed to do it, right? Doesn't solve the problem, it's not done. So you need to follow them, and you need to make sure that they're actually executing. Both ends, both ends. If you need to talk to your executives, go, do it. Don't assume anything. This is also super important, so instant feedback. In the normal world, like when you are in the office, we are there for the whole day, so it's kind of, again, remember that we are visual beings. You did something bad or you saw someone doing something good or something bad, you can wait until the next opportunity to say, hey, remember that thing you said in the morning? Probably they will. Yes, I do. But now home, like it's you, your parrot, your dog, your family, everybody, like super annoying. You have a lot of things going on, and you possibly will not going to remember. Remember what you said in the morning? No, sorry, I didn't even remember I ate at lunch. So it's no. So do it immediately. Both sides. So the positive feedback and the negative feedback. Remote work, we usually forget to give positive feedback. And it's super important. It's one simple, I mean, you as managers, it's one simple sentence. Amazing job here. That's done. You're going to make the day of your team, and they're going to understand when they're succeeding. And usually wait until the next one-on-one after 1 week or 2 weeks, and it's too late. So work on this, like really instant feedback, and allow people to give you instant feedback as well. Ask them to do it. It's a by street. I want to be honest with you all, like it's really, our work is super hard. Your work as engineer manager is even harder. Like it's a lot of work to do on the remote environment. It's much more than a normal office. You could call a meeting with everybody and say what you think, get reactions. Now you need to do a meeting, then you need to do 10 one-on-ones depending on the size of your team. You need to keep understanding what they are doing and checking. So it will be harder in the beginning, but actually it will get easier if you follow the playbook and the guidelines and things that you can do. What is next for our world? So what we are actually going on? As I said, things were nicely, people were happy, remote work, woohoo, we're going to work forever from home, no more offices, nobody will commute, and now we are seeing lots of companies, actually, let's go back to days, and you know that they're probably going to go full-time, or not, but it actually doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. If you apply a playbook, if you have a clear remote playbook, just change it for office playbook. It also applies. You can learn from things that we actually get done on a distributed world to get a better if you go back to the office. If not, like us, Jimdo, we are not going to get back to the office. Like it's a premise, we're going to stay remote because we believe in the remote work. We are just improving our remote playbook. And it's a really, really, really a day-to-day improvement operations. Some recaps from the call. So first and most important, assume nothing. It's your job to not assume anything. If someone said something, if someone said they will do something, follow up. That's super important for the trust. Transparency and communication. Remember, like we are working with adults. It's totally okay to go to a meeting and say, hey, I don't think you are doing a nice job. I don't think you fit in the company culture. I don't think the company is the right place for you. And the other way around, I think you are doing a great job. I think you're doing amazing. People will understand. The company is not doing so good. The company is doing good. It's okay. People will understand. Don't fake it. Because you're going to find this person at some point in your life again, and it's important to be transparent. Build a remote playbook. It's super important, really. Like you tell your team how they're going to perform, what they expect from them. If people work in a place that they have no expectations, it's pretty tough. I'm not sure if you ever worked in a company that you had like no clarity. You don't know what you are doing. Like it's just pointless. You know, oh, my day is super sad. It's super annoying. I don't know what I'm doing. Give them transparency. We can it. Do it now. Don't wait. Like really. One of the things I most hear is like, yeah, I'm going to give the feedback next week. No, get now. Like what is the difference? It's 5 minutes. Just call the person, give the feedback, and move forward. This will bring a lot of improvement on your workspace and communication remotely. And the last one, do your work with passion. I mean, most probably all of us, we are managers because we love people, and it's pretty weird. Like it's much... I think like for engineers, it's better to work with machines and you can yell and you can do whatever and nothing happens. But we love people, so we need to do our work with passion and we need to be available. I think that's the most important thing, be available. You can't ask people to do things if you are not there. You can't demand people to deliver stuff if you are not together with them. It's your job to be available, to understand. One last thing that I have before I close the talk. You do not need, I mean, I heard a lot of people saying, hey, but my company doesn't want a remote playbook, but my company doesn't want communication, but no, it's you. You have a team. Small teams are really a treasure for you to try out things and fail. If you communicate properly, if you're transparent on what you're trying to do, and if you build this with your team, you can try out, you can validate, and they will definitely influence the company. Some people from my team, they are here like since the beginning at Jimdo, and they know like we try out a lot of things before we actually make it bigger. So don't fear, like really try out. If you have ideas, if you have something you want to implement, talk to your team, make a trial, grab data, and move forward. Thanks a lot. It was really a pleasure. And if you want, I'm going to be outside.